Hi everyone, it's Mr. Spring here. In today's video, we are going to talk about equivalent fractions. Equivalent fractions are different fractions that have the same value. If you take a look at this graphic here, you can see that 1/2 has the same value as 2/4, and that has the same value as 4/8. It can be easier to understand fractions when we talk about pizza. If you took this pizza and you cut it in half, and you ate this half of the pizza, you would say you ate 1/2 of a pizza. But you could also take that pizza and you could cut it into quarters. And if you ate 1 and then 2/4, you ate the same amount of pizza. Again, you could take that pizza and instead of cutting it into halves or to quarters, you could cut it into 8 equal sections. And if you were to eat 1, 2, 3, 4 of those 8 equal sections, you would have eaten the same amount of pizza. So you can see that 1/2 is equal to 2/4, which is equal to 4/8. When you see fractions written like this, to create an equivalent fraction is quite easy. You just need to make sure that you multiply your numerator and your denominator by the same number. So for example, I might multiply both of these by 2. So I'm just going to write that in there. 4 times 2 is 8, and 6 times 2 is 12. So the fraction 8/12 is equivalent to the fraction of 4/6. With this one here, 3/5, I'm going to multiply both my numerator and my denominator, this time by 3. So it doesn't matter what you multiply by, you'll always get an equivalent fraction as long as these numbers are the same. 3 times 3 is 9, and 5 times 3 is 15. So that number here, 9/15, is equivalent to 3/5. So if I took that same fraction of 3/5 and I multiplied each number by 2, I would get 6/10. And so 3/5 is equivalent to 6/10, which means 6/10 is also equivalent to 9/15. There is an infinite amount of equivalent fractions that you can make. One more example. I'm going to multiply both my numerator and my denominator by 5 this time. 2 times 5 is 10, and 7 times 5 is 35. Because I multiplied both the numerator and the denominator by the same number, this fraction here is equivalent to this fraction here. Are these fractions equivalent? This is a very common question you'll see on an assessment. Well, check to see if you're multiplying both numerator and denominator by the same number. So in this first example, you would ask yourself, when I go from 2 to 4, what am I multiplying by? Well, that's 2. And then when I go from 3 to 6, I'm also multiplying by 2. And so the fact that we're multiplying both our numerator and our denominator by 2 tells us that yes, these fractions are equivalent. In our middle example though, you can see that we're going from a numerator of 2 to 3. So we're actually timesing by 1.5, timesing by 1.5. 6 times 1.5 is 9. So this one is not equivalent. A common mistake students will make though is this. They'll say, well, I'm going from 2 to 3, so I'm adding 1. And here I'm going from 6 to a 7, I'm adding 1. And they will think that these are equivalent. But remember, you have to be multiplying both your numerator and your denominator. So that one does not work. They are not equivalent fractions. In this last example here, we compare our numerators. We're going from 4 to 8, so we're multiplying by 2. And we're going from 7 to 14, so we're also multiplying by 2. So yes, those are equivalent fractions. So there you go, a very quick explanation of equivalent fractions. I hope this helps you. If not, please get in touch and ask a question. I'm happy to help. All the best.